What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Beef's Beef. Sorry it's been so long since I recorded my last episode. First off, I hope you enjoyed that episode. I thought it was a great interview with Aaron Lunsford, the drummer for As Cities Burn. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. It was a little different than what I normally do because it was a musician. But hey, maybe if I can get some more stuff like that, if you guys enjoyed that, I'll definitely try to do that. So uh, I have a great interview set up for you guys today. But before that, I want to get with my sponsors. My first sponsor, Crystal Lackey at Stockton Mortgage. Get with Crystal with all of your home loan needs, with all your refinancing needs, anything that has to do with the mortgage or anything that has to do with the home lending process. Get with my friend Crystal at Stockton Mortgage. You can get in contact with her at 502-615-0743. It is Crystal Lackey at Stockton Mortgage, 502-615-0743. Stockton Mortgage is an equal housing lender, MLS number 8259, Crystal Lackey, MLS number 1735979. My second sponsor right here, boom, Dellium, Bdellium, spelled Dellium, or it's said Dellium, spelled Bdellium. My good friend Isaac does great stuff with this clothing line. You can find him at Him's Gentleman Boutique in downtown New Albany. Dellium is men's and women's minimalistic brand that focuses on modern aesthetic and quality. Everything comes pre-shrunk, so you don't have to worry about it shrinking on you in the dryer or anything like that. My guy's always posting new stuff that he's doing. Check him out. Dellium Clothing on Facebook, at Dellium Clothing on Instagram. Again, Dellium Clothing. Look them up. Buy some stuff from them. Look at that shirt. That's nice. So today's episode will be with a person I consider a great friend of mine. He's a fantastic athlete and an even better person. Today I have a returning guest. He was on episode 50 for all you longtime listeners. His name is Javen Reeves. He is a professional high jumper. He jumped in high school for New Albany High School. He also jumped for the University of Louisville, won the ACC championship his senior year of college, and has now moved on to the professional ranks. So I think you guys are going to enjoy this interview. We're going to talk about, what it takes to, be a professional high jumper, what goes into his training and everything from the training to what he's looking to do in the future. So without further ado, Javen Reeves. All right, guys, I'm here with Javen, man. How you doing?
I'm doing real good. It feels good to be back. Haven't seen you. We haven't talked in a while. We talked since November when
we ran into each other at the polls actually when we were voting. I didn't even think we'd sit there and talk for very long. We sat there and talked for 35, 40 minutes. So
it was a minute.
Yeah. So I talked to you then and said, I'd actually told you before that I wanted to get you back on, and then I let some time go because we'll talk about what you were dealing with at that point, and later on in the episode whenever I asked the questions and stuff. But so for those of you who don't remember, I had Javen on an earlier episode. It was actually episode 50, so it was that long ago. Right now we're on 155, man. So done 105 episodes since the last time you've been on. It's a lot different too, if you can tell. So
way different.
Yeah. I was 50 episodes in, man, but I was still getting my feet wet with a lot of that stuff. So it was funny though, man. We just stood there at your at the island of your apartment, and just chilled and talked. And I mean, it was still good, which is the same thing we're going to do here today. But it's a lot different than what I'm doing now, because now we actually have a video aspect of it. So it's great to be able to. Everybody gets to see what the person looks like. That's the way I like to look at it, anyway.
I know. I like this a lot better too.
But how was your experience right after college? Like, what did you do right after we got done with that and you ended up graduating?
So it was kind of tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't know whether I wanted to do track. I wanted to do track, but I needed to pay my bills too. So I didn't know what I was going to do, and I took a break from track, and I got in, I got out, and then I got in and I got out. But I got an apartment and I started working, and I kind of did away with it for a minute, but and then I got back into it.
What brought you back? Like, what got you to come back and then actually just stick with it?
So I was having a conversation with my friend Rye, Fly Guy Rye, and I was talking to him, and I was like, it seems like every time I try to get back in the track, something always goes wrong, or something always happens. So I don't know if that's just God telling me just not to do it, or or just persevere and push through and make it happen. Um, and he told me, he was like, well, we don't quit, so just give it one more try. And we were out New Year's, and we were just uh, drinking, having a good time. And I told him, I was like, man, I'm not even gonna lie to you. And I was under the influence, but it was sincere, it was true. And I was saying, like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I only need 2 weeks, and I feel like I can be the best jumper in the country, in the world, whatever the case may be. And the next day, I took a stand that I was going to train for 2 weeks, get my mind right. And uh, my coach told me, he was like, this was the beginning of the 2020, and my coach told me, he was like, well, let's see where you're at. And I went. He said, so go to Indianapolis and uh, go jump and just see where you're at, just so I know where to put you when it's time to make your practice schedule and all that. And I went up there and jumped 7.2, and then he was like, "Oh, well, I got to make a real practice schedule for you." And then we kind of got the ball rolling. Uh, but I really am glad to be back. I I don't want to say I lost myself, but I will say I lost my way. And I'm here to jump. I'm here to inspire, and it's just really good to be back and doing what I love, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
So I remember the last time I talked to you when you were still just right out of college, you explained how professionals would be in your all's meet. So is that, I guess that's the route that you took at this point. You were now that person that you kind of were getting a little disgruntled with in the meets when you were jumping in college. You were that guy now.
Yeah, so I'm that guy now. I used to be like, dang, like why are they here? But I also love the competition too, because if I can beat you guys, I'm proving that I'm one of the better jumpers in the country and the world. So that is the route I've kind of taken. I didn't have any major sponsors out of college, so I just I'm unattached right now. I'm a movement athlete, and we'll get into that later. But I'm a movement athlete, and I'm jumping unattached, and eventually I'll get into diamond league meets and stuff like that, and paid meets. But I have to work my way up because my marks were great in college, but they're middle of the pack right now. So I just have to get my marks up. And I've talked to a few agents, and they gave me heights to jump 7.5, and he said he can get me into a few paid meets. So I'm really excited about the season. I'm really excited what's in store. Like I was telling you in November, I felt like 2020 was a foundational year, and we created a really solid foundation. I'm really excited for what's to come because I feel like I'm ready, not just physically but mentally too.
So thinking back, I mean, to taking the entire 2019 season off, do you think, like now that you're looking back at it, you say maybe you lost your way, but do you think maybe that kind of helped you because it helped rest your body some, and
You know
maybe it
what?
was kind of a blessing in disguise, maybe?
You know what? That's exactly how I viewed it because I came back and I was just like, wow, like you never know.
When you were in
I was talking,
college, like you're literally training and doing that all year round, right? So I mean,
yeah.
it's kind of like that LeBron mentality where LeBron was just getting worn down, making it to the finals every year, then doing the
Yeah.
Olympics, and so I mean, you're constantly doing stuff. Like you had to think that maybe that was taking a toll on your body, even if you were at that age, what 22, 23 at the oldest.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was just like, you know what? Like it's been like 7 years. I've been at it for like 6 7 years, and it's a lot of wear and tear, especially going from being a senior in high school and not even knowing about indoor season to having a full indoor season, a full outdoor season, and then coming back and having like a month or two off, and then coming right back and hitting it straight hard. I needed that year off. I needed that year to figure out what I wanted to do, figure out who I was. I needed that year off to just rest, and I got a lot of rest, and I got a lot of stuff. Uh, I just helped myself, so I'm just feeling good about what's to come, and I just needed that.
So you talked about your coach and everything, and how he was kind of a point of contact. Like, how difficult was it to train, or how difficult was it to train now that you were out of school, or so you just reached out to your coach and he was like, "Yeah, come on over here, and I'll still work with you even though you're not here anymore."
So it's a funny story. and it was locally a blessing because I'm really good friends with um, two world class high jumpers. Rod Townsend, he was a Paralympian. He won the Paralympics in 2016 in Rio, and Tynita Butts, his wife. Well, Tynita Butts Townsend. I don't want to be disrespectful. Um, but they're both world class high jumpers, and they messaged me and they said we're moving to Louisville, and our coach is the new jumps coach, and he reached out to me, and we all went out to eat, and we got back into it, and I got back into it, and basically, um, I was training with him, but I quit, and I had to regain his trust because he's one of those people that he's behind you if you're in it,
Yeah.
but if you're in 1 foot in and 1 foot out, he's just like, all right, like I don't really want much to do with you because this is serious. This is my livelihood. So if you're not gonna be all the way in, I can't be all the way in assisting you. So I had to really prove myself when I came back, and I had to give him a full 110% effort. But we got back on track, and he coaches me. His name's Pete Jeff Petersmeyer. He coaches at Louisville, and he really breaks the jumps down, and he has my mind right, and he has me ready for the season. He makes my workouts every single week, um, and I'm thankful for him.
That's man. I mean, if you don't mind me asking, I mean, do you have to pay him to do that, or is he just doing that out of the kindness of his heart?
He's so it's a blessing because he's just doing it out of the kindness of his heart. He has a post collegiate team, and he asked if I wanted to be on it, and I was like, well, yeah, I definitely want to be on it because
So
I
it's
don't
an
know what.
invite only type thing.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay. That's still for him to take out time of his day and use his efforts and everything for free. I mean, that's phenomenal.
yeah, yeah, and I'm very thankful for Pete. We talk at least a few times throughout the week.
That's great. So, uh, were you? I guess when you jumped, that was, or you said New Year's. I'm guessing so. That was New Year's 19 going into 20.
Yeah,
So I'm guessing you were going to say, "Hey, I'm taking these next couple of months," because I know when we spoke back in 18, you were talking Olympics in 2 years. Like that
yeah,
was your big goal. So you two blessings in disguise again, man. I feel like I know you said maybe God was trying to tell you. I think God's telling you need to work for it because then He puts this global pandemic in it. As terrible as
yeah,
it sounds, but it gives you another year for you to completely train. So
yeah,
I'm guessing you were going to use that small amount of time from January to, I don't even know when the trials would have been before the Olympics, but you were going to use that small amount of time to try to work your way into the trials and get into the Olympics, right?
yeah, yeah. I view it as a big blessing in the skies because I think I would have been able to get in off of pure talent and effort because I worked really hard, but I know God was like, well, like you need to get your mental right, and you need to do this and you need to do that. So like I'm not gonna say the pandemic happened because he wanted me to
Yeah.
get take an extra year to train and stuff, but that's exactly how it felt. I needed to go through a lot of the stuff that I went to build myself up mentally and physically because right now I feel unstoppable. I feel like I'm the best in the world, and I feel like that's how you're supposed to feel. I watch a lot of Muhammad Ali, and I love his attitude. I love the way he takes on life, and I love the way he takes on boxing and his confidence, his just how he moves, and I like to paint myself just like him.
So, I mean, if you can think back to the beginning of the stoppage, like, would you say at that point though that would you say now with the clear mind that you think you were ready to go into the trials and do what you had to do to qualify at that point?
I think I'm more sure of myself now than I was back then. Like I was saying, I feel like it would have been uh, I would have been moving off a lot of faith, and I still had a lot of bills, so I would eventually had to figure something out. But I feel like I could have got it done. But right now, like I'm just very sure of my abilities, my mental.
I'm gonna tell you this,
Everything.
man. You're a whole lot more confident than when we spoke the last time.
Yeah, yeah,
It's I can see it. It's not just something that's just mustered up because before you all couldn't see like I don't know, man. It's getting me excited, dude, for real. Because
yeah.
it's like
I really
I
am
can feel it.
excited.
Because before you were like, yeah, I want to try for the Olympics. Now you're like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to the trials and I'm gonna do my thing and get into the
Yeah,
Olympics. Like that's a totally different mindset, and I agree with you. That's the mindset you have to take. Again, I'm not the greatest at anything, but like you see, I watch a lot of sports and I watch a lot of high caliber athletes. That's the mindset. I can really only think of maybe one person that doesn't really have that mindset as far as like as high, and that's LeBron. But like you see guys like Jordan, you see guys like Kobe, Muhammad Ali, the confidence that just oozed out of them all the time. Not to say that
yeah.
LeBron doesn't have confidence, but I don't feel like it's as pushed out there as those other guys. And I can see it, man. And I think it's a great thing. And I think after a while, that's going to start oozing off on competitors to where it's going to be,
Yeah.
oh, great. Now it's this guy. They're going to look at you like you did when you were in college. Like, great, this guy's
Exactly.
Javen's here at this meet. Now I got to face him, and that's what's going to happen. So I realize this is an individual sport, and it involves, but it involves your weights and other training, I'm sure. But explain what the difficulties were, and maybe even some things that were maybe easier while training during the global pandemic.
uh, it was really difficult because at the beginning of the pandemic, you remember how they were pushing like the Nike brand, and they were saying like if anybody wanted to be like professional, like or be a star, stay in or something like that, and they were really pushing like at home workouts and stuff like that, and I was just like, I can't get down with at home workouts. It's just not the same, and I stopped for a second, and we got back into it when we got some news that things might be opening back up, and then we stopped when things locked back down, and then we got back into it, and that's how I pulled my hamstring in I think it was April or March, May, and then I stopped for a few months. Well, it was like 1 or 2 months, but it was very difficult at the beginning of the pandemic because Louisville wouldn't let us, and they still don't let us train at the facilities, which I completely understand. I'm not going to hold that against them. They don't want anybody to come in and kind of mess up what they have going on. But I train at Everyday Athletes right now, and I train at the Movement Institute. That's my sponsor, and I train up there. I wake up. I'm really dedicated, so I wake up at 5:15, 5:30 every morning. I go in at 6, get done at around 7:45, 8 o'clock. I meditate for around 15 minutes, and then I come home to my girlfriend, and we chop it up and make breakfast and do what we got to do, and then I go to work and do it all over again the next day. But
That's
at the beginning of the pandemic, it was really tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was contemplating giving it up, but then I was like, this is just a part of just everybody has to go through it. So just like Kobe would always say, figure it out. I had to figure it out, and I figured it out, and we're here, and we're ready to compete, and we're ready to do what we're supposed to do.
so we mentioned, we spoke a few months back, and you mentioned your sponsor, which you just mentioned there, and then you you also mentioned that you experienced an injury. First, explain what the sponsor does and who it is, and then second, what you said it was a pulled hamstring. How did you end up doing that? I guess it was off and on, like you said. And are you 100% now?
Okay, so the first injury, I had two major injuries. The first one was a pulled hamstring, and that was just because we were off and on, and we were trying to be high intensity. But if you're gonna do high intensity, you have to continuously build into it. You can't just be off and then try to go out there and run like 5 200s. It's not gonna happen
Yeah.
for anybody. Like nobody can do that. And I tried to do that, and I I was running 200s one day with Rod, and I heard a pop in my hamstring, and I was like, oh wow, I know that didn't just happen. And then it just felt really terrible for the next few weeks, and I was like, you know what, dang.
So is that something that you just rest and it heals itself like a sprained ankle almost, or is it just
Yeah.
you have to get treatment on it and stuff?
Yeah, so that was just something that I had to rest. I went and got dry needled, and that helped a lot. And that's pretty much my chiropractor takes like needles and pokes the muscle, and it loosens up the muscle. Um, but yeah, that was tough. And then the next injury was when I fully got back training. It was in August, and I was in track. There's no such thing as 2-a-day workouts, but I was just in this mode where I was like, I gotta work, I gotta get back, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So I was waking up at like 5:30, riding my bike to the gym, having one practice, having one weightlifting session, and then I would go to work, and then I would get out of work, ride my bike, some like to the gym, and then do another session, and or go to the boxing gym, and I would have a rest day through the week on like Thursdays, but we would train like Monday through Friday, and then Monday through Saturday, and then have Sunday off. And I was doing that every day, and then of course um, I overtrained, and I ended up tearing my meniscus, and
Mm.
uh, it was tough though, because I had just after I got dry, but I will say this is a blessing in disguise, because I when I went and got dry needled, I was telling my chiropractor, I was like, hey, I've been doing this jump attack. You know, Jordan's trainer, I don't know his name off the top of my head. And I'm not even going to try
Is
to.
it Tim Grover or something like that?
Tim Grover, Tim S. Grover. And I was doing his jump attack book because Alex Santiago, somebody that I went to high school with, had told me about it. And I was like, he was like, it gives you like 6 more inches on your vertical. And I mean, I already have a high vertical, but I wanted to do something extra because I wanted to get back in shape. And so I was doing that in the morning, and I overtrained and tore my meniscus. And that was when I met Kevin. My chiropractor is, it's a funny story. My chiropractor is um, brother-in-law's with Kevin, my sponsor. And he was like, well, I can get you in touch with Kevin. And I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, baby, I'm gonna be honest, it would be nice if I just had somebody that can rehab me. And it was that weekend, Kevin called me and he was like, hey, you want to come in to the facility and we can get some tests going and go from there? And because I really want to sponsor you, because I believe in you. I was looking at some of your stuff and I really believe that you can get it done. And so we went up there, and my knee was swollen, but I could still train though. I was still moving well. I was doing what I do, but it was really swollen. And so I went to Kevin's, and we did test, and he said, I'm gonna sponsor you. And so he helped me with rehab. And basically I went to the talking about the torn meniscus, I went to the doctor, and basically they said it's just fluid in your knee, don't worry about it, blah blah blah, it'll go away, and just put some ice on it. And I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna trust what you guys say, but I think it might be more than that. So I trained for 2 weeks, and I went back because it was still swollen, and I had done everything that they said, taking all the medicine that they told me to take, taking a lot of anti-inflammatories, a lot of ibuprofen, blah 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 blah, and it still wasn't hurting, but it had started hurting. So I went back, and we got an MRI, and they said the MRI came back a few days later, and it said that you have a torn meniscus, you might have uh, you have a flip disc, and you might have a partially torn ACL. And I was like, wow, like, and I had a moment, a moment, and I was like, I was riding back home, and I was just inside. Well, I was riding back to work because the MRI was at like 8 that morning. I was riding back to work, and I was like, God, I don't know what you want from me. Like, I don't know what you want from me. I don't know
Yeah.
what you're asking for me. And um then I posted something on my IG. It's probably still on there. On one of my stories. But I I said God wants you to dig deeper. So I just dug deeper, and then the surgeon came back and said your he did the surgery 2 weeks later. And he said your ACL was perfectly fine. It was just a torn meniscus, and the disc is all good. We just fixed everything, and you'll be good in about 4 to 6 weeks. So that was a blessing in disguise. Kevin, my sponsor, though, he helps me with rehab, and he helps me with my explosiveness and controlling and transferring energy through my core, and my core is very stable now. This is a lot of stuff I wish I would have known at Louisville. Not to say that Louisville didn't help me. I would never ever say that, because they got me to where I am. But um, he knows his stuff, and he's willing. He's right behind me, and I'm gonna go see him Saturday. We're getting back together Saturday. But that's the Movement Institute. Um, they're actually getting my jerseys together, because I open up the season next week. But yeah, they're they're behind me 100%, and I'm really excited for everything that's to come, because it wasn't easy getting over a torn meniscus, but that's what made me get into meditation and really build my mental, because that was the first injury I really had where, oh, you can't do anything for 4 to 6 weeks. Like you're out. Like you're stuck with your mind. You can't go jump over a bar.
Yeah.
So you have to build your mental. And I've built my mental, and it takes 3 weeks to build a routine and build a habit. So um, I've meditated a lot, did a lot of rehab, and I still meditate every day. I still do a lot of rehab with Kevin, and we're excited. We're excited. I'm back 100% healthy, and I'm ready to go.
So would you say that the meditating is the biggest part of your mental approach being different than what it was in college or even high school? Like, first, let's go back to high school to college. Like, what was your mental, biggest difference in mental approach from high school to college, and then from college to now?
So high school, I was just more gifted than everybody. I could just jump higher than everybody. So it was just, the plan is we're gonna go out and we're gonna do what we do. If we do what we do, nobody's gonna beat us, and that's really what happened. We got second once at regionals, but it didn't really matter, because regionals, it's all about surviving and advancing. So we won state. When I got to college, I was actually just talking to a friend about this. I was talking to my friend Devin last night. And I was saying, we used to talk in freshman year at the dorms, and we would always be like, we're surrounded by state champions now, so how are we going to separate ourselves? And I think my approach was just to, I was still a lot more gifted than everybody, but I had to really focus on um, my craft. I had to really focus on my craft. And that quote is 90% of sport is mental, and the rest is athletics and doing it.
Yeah.
That's very true, because once you get to the highest level, people are just going to outsmart you. I think it was I want to say Roger Federer. He said a lot of people are just as talented as me, but they will never be able to outsmart me, because I'm I'm so zeroed in and so focused mentally. Don't quote me on that, because I don't know if it was Roger Federer. It might have been Novak Djokovic, but I don't really know off the top of my head. But yeah, like, it was really tough.
So you said your current training situation. So right now you said you're training where? Everyday Fitness? Where is that at?
Everyday Athlete.
Or Everyday Athlete, sorry.
It's right off of Production Lane. It's on by Hurstbourne. You know where the AMC Theater is?
Yeah.
Yep. It's right down the street from that. And my girlfriend actually lives around 10 minutes from there, so it's not too far of a drive in the morning at 6 a.m. But I love it, because I don't need much to motivate me, but having people there that see you train, and that are in there just working hard, working as hard as you. I can't talk right now. Working as hard as you. It really makes me go even harder, because I love to be around people who are goal driven, who are there for a reason. And we talk all the time, and they're behind me, and a lot of them are probably going to go to Louisville. Just built an indoor facility, and a lot of them are probably going to go to the meet March 7th. So I love Everyday Athlete, and I love the movement too. I love what he's doing there. He's about to expand.
So you said your season starts next week. Is that what you said?
Yes.
So
Yes.
what are your plans as far as, all right, these are the ones that I for sure have locked in. And then what are the ones where you're like, because you said you have some meets that maybe you might get into. What are the ones that for sure you're going to do now though?
So right now I have 4 meets that are for sure. Well, actually 5 that are for sure goes. So the next meet next week at the Darius Dixon Classic in Liberty, uh, Lynchburg, Virginia. That's the season opener. We're gonna do really well there, and we have 2 meets at the new indoor facility in downtown Louisville in the West End, March 7th and March 14th, and then I'm
Wait,
headed out to
where is that? I didn't even know there was a new indoor facility in downtown in
yeah.
the West End.
So they spent $20 million to build a new indoor facility downtown. It's beautiful. I actually rode past it. I don't know the address off the top of my head, but I rode past it this a few days ago actually, and it's really nice. And they actually just posted some pictures on Twitter. Rod sent it to me. I can send it to you after this,
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. Send it to me. I want to check it out.
but it's really dope. It's a beautiful facility. I like how Louisville's expanding. I like how Louisville's doing what they're doing, and I'm excited to be a part of what Louisville's doing.
So, do these meets go towards something that qualifies you for the Olympic trials, or like how does that work? Is that just something that you just have to jump over a certain thing to get to the Olympic trials, like jump over a certain height, or is it just any person that's a professional high jumper can technically go to this?
So basically, you have to hit the U.S. trial standard, which is 7.5. I don't think that'll be a problem. Um, and then the Olympic standard, you have to hit the Olympic standard to get into the Olympics, which is 7.7 3/4. I'm pretty sure 2:33. I don't know the meters and feet, so I think it's 7.7 3/4, but I know it's 2:33 in meters. So um, I think that'll be. I think we'll jump 7.5 very early in the season. I think it'll take a little bit longer to get the Olympic standard, but not too long. I know we'll get it before the U.S. trials, and then once we get to the U.S. trials, it's all about doing what we do, fine tuning and getting ready to go to the Olympics. Because I believe, if you ask me, I believe I'm going. I believe we can get it done, and we will get it done. It's all about timing and winning the day. That was my mindset in college, was winning the day. As long as we do what we're supposed to do every day, once it's time to compete for a championship, nobody, as long as injuries don't happen, nobody should be able to beat us.
See, that's the other thing that goes into what you're doing and that makes what you do so impressive because um, you have to be very self motivated because it's such an individual sport. And,
Yeah,
you play on a basketball team. Sometimes you can come out not as motivated, and your team can still be out motivated, and it'll just bring you up. And
right,
this, it's like there's no one jumping for you. You're jumping for yourself. So
right.
you can go out there and get embarrassed if you don't want to be, motivated enough to do it. But yeah, I mean that's the other thing, and you're right. I mean, you're gonna have to have confidence, and you already have it. So you go where and when are the Olympic trials held? Like where are they held at?
So they're in June, mid June, actually late June. They're in Eugene, Oregon. They actually just built a new facility. It's like a nice little dome. Not little. It's a big dome. Uh, Dr. Fauci actually was saying that things should be closer to normal back then, so we should have fans at the U.S. Olympic trials, which would be amazing. And I've never actually jumped at Oregon. I've always wanted to jump at Tracktown, USA, but I've never been able to. So I know I'm gonna hit the U.S. Olympic standard. I'm gonna pay for my hotels and everything very soon because I know I'm gonna go, and it's gonna be really fun.
So you jumped at something last year, right? I feel like it was before the pandemic hit
Yep.
because I
Yep.
I was actually at the boat when you were doing it, and I made them change the channel to so I could watch. Have you been to the boat and seen the sports thing there?
Yeah.
I made them change one of those TVs to watch you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I jumped at Albuquerque. Like I was saying earlier, I qualified for U.S. Indoor Championships, and um, then I went. Well, I went to Indianapolis, and then I qualified for USA Indoor Championships, and I went to USA Indoor Championships before the pandemic happened, and I went there and placed sixth, and we jumped 7-2, and what I will say is my body, although my mind was ready to compete at the highest level, my body was not in shape to do that. So like it was just constant injuries and constant pulling hamstrings, pulling groins, this and that. So like we've been saying, it was a blessing in disguise to get that extra year to really go, because I'm really sure of my ability, really sure of myself. And there'll be ups and downs, but mentally I'm solid as a rock. So I know I'll be able to get through whatever's thrown at me.
So just to be clear that like I understand it right. So as long as you jump 7.5 sometime during your season, you're qualified to go to the trials. And then
Yeah.
if you jump over what you said, you think it's 7.3 quarters, I think it was.
Okay.
All right. So we had a little bit difficult technical difficulties there. I think Javen got a phone call or whatever. But so just to be clear, so you have to jump at least 7.5 during the season, and that qualifies you for the trials. And then whatever you said, it may be 7.3 quarters, that whatever it is, as long as you jump that during the season, you are automatically qualified for the Olympics. But I guess when you get to the trials, I'm guessing you just have to be
Top
a
three.
certain top three, and then you get to go to the Olympics.
Yeah. So if I hit this 233 before the Olympic trials, as long as I get top three, I'm going. Um, I don't know. I think they'll still, as if I don't hit it, I think they'll still take me if I'm top three.
Yeah.
But it's a for sure thing. If I hit the standard and place top three, it's a for sure thing.
So let's say you hit the standard. Are you going to continue to do meets for practice, I guess, or is this just where you take time off and you focus on everything you need to do, and then if you feel like there is something you need to work on, then you do a meet?
If I hit it early, I think I'm just since I don't have anywhere to jump right now, I think I'm just continue to just go to meets and see how high I can go, see if I can build my world ranking, and go from there. But I don't think much will change because of how the pandemic is kind of set up. We can't go jump at the University of Louisville. We're in talks with the new indoor facility, and we might be able to get in there. But I think I'll continue as long if I hit it, I'll keep the season the same. I won't stop. Last year I might have done it, but this year we gotta get in as many meets as possible because we don't have anywhere to really jump right now.
So what's the highest you've ever jumped?
7.4 and a quarter.
7.4. And I'm guessing. So that's practice or anything. That's the highest you've ever jumped.
Yeah.
And what I'm sure you've attempted higher, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I got some fun questions for you. We're gonna start with this week is Super Bowl.
Okay.
So we can't obviously record an episode of the week of the Super Bowl and not talk about it.
Exactly.
So this Super Bowl's this upcoming weekend. Hopefully I don't get canceled because I'm saying Super Bowl. Everybody else are making say the big game or whatever. That's why all those commercials are saying it. But it is this weekend, pun intended. Yep. You got any predictions? Like who do you think wins? Like what do you think the score, the MVP?
No, well, me and my cousin, we go back and forth with this, but I got to give it to TB12. I think he's just the GOAT. Pat Mahomes is a bad boy though. He's proven a lot, but I always tell my cousin, I'm like, he's a great quarterback. I won't take that from him. He does things that we've never seen before, but he also has Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, and that's just it's not all him. But I would never discredit him because I wouldn't want somebody to discredit me. So, but with that being said, I got to go with the Bucs because I feel like Brady's on a mission, and I feel like Pat Mahomes is young in his career. So, if he loses now, it doesn't matter. He's gonna get. I'm predicting he'll get about 3 or 4 more.
Yeah. So I have to ask this. I mean, you see the sign here. Boom. That's autographed, by the way.
Yep.
Are you as excited about the halftime show as I am? Probably not, but
No, and you know it's I am. I'm not no, but I am. And it's crazy because I when I first heard Blinding Lights, I was like, man, this song is weak, and why do they keep playing it? But then one night, me and my cousin was just chilling, and it came on. I was like, who is this? It's just hard. And he was like, bro, it's the song you've been calling weak. So
That's, what's funny, man, is I have so many friends that are the exact same way because I mean, people have heard me talk about. I've been on the weekend since he was on Crew Love on Take Care,
yeah, great.
and I heard that, and I was like, I didn't think that Drake would do another song with The Dream 2 albums in a row, and I was like, wait, who is The Weeknd? I dove into Trilogy right after that in 2011, and now my mind was blown. I hit it. So I got him right after he put out all 3 of those mixtapes, and then so I've been on him for a long time.
Yeah,
and I've been trying to tell people, I'm like, man, you all
He's
hear his
talented.
radio stuff, and his radio stuff is fantastic, but you all really need to listen to his album stuff. And now some of my friends and family are listening to his album stuff, and I'm like, man, this dude's good. I was like, bro, I've been telling you that for 10 years.
Right.
The dude is fantastic. But this album is way more than Blinding Lights, and I know you're not just saying that's what it is, but I'm excited to see what culmination he's going to do, because the way he's been setting up the videos and stuff and telling a story with everything in Vegas, and then it comes out, that he put $7 million of his own money into the thing. Yeah, I love the press conference today. I don't know if you saw any of that. He wouldn't tell anything about it.
See, I think it'll be really special, and I love The Weeknd.
Yeah. So let's get your predictions on some fun stuff. There's always the prop bets and everything. So, okay. All right. So we're gonna come back and look at these and see how well you do. So the coin toss, you think it's heads or tails?
I gotta go tails.
All right. So that Eric Church and Jasmine Sullivan are going to sing the national anthem. You think it's going to be over or under 1:59?
Over. Jasmine Sullivan, she's gonna get her runs in. So like she's definitely gonna sing for longer than 1:59.
Oh, so who do you think is gonna be the MVP? I forgot to get that from you. Who do you think is gonna be the MVP?
I'm gonna say Devin White, the linebacker from I think Tom Brady could do it, but if I'm gonna give a sleeper and say Devin White.
I think if they do win, it's gonna have to be a defender that gets it. I agree with you. If they win the game, it's gonna have to be a defender that wins the MVP for the Bucs.
Plus, he's been playing lights out. He's gonna definitely be the X factor, if not the MVP.
All right. So the last question: what's the Gatorade color that gets dumped on the coach?
I gotta go with blue.
Blue.
I got you.
All right. So I do this next part with everybody. It is the rapid fire questions. My rapid fire questions are sponsored by my good friends over at Mike and Cheese. You've been off social media for a little bit, so I don't know if you've seen, but I have my own mac and cheese now.
No, I actually saw that.
Yeah, so I have I'm actually getting some for the Super Bowl this weekend to celebrate the game. But hit up my guys over at Mike and Cheese. They got the best mac and cheese in town. Trays start at $10. Okay. You can get in touch with them. They deliver to Southern Indiana and Louisville, and tip him, of course. But let me make sure. I got to get his number. I pulled up the wrong part of it. Phone number is 502-548-6845. Make sure you try the Pizza Mac. Tell him I sent you. And, maybe he'll hook you up with like a song or something, because he's very musically talented as well. So rapid fire questions, you're familiar with that, how that is? I give you the question. You say the first thing comes to your mind. All right. Did you have a pre-meet ritual?
Pre-meet ritual? I don't have one right now, but I will tell you in high school, I used to eat, it was really weird, and it was a really weird combination, but I would always beat people. It would be sour gummy worms and Vienna sausages.
And what?
Vienna sausages.
Oh gosh! You would eat them together?
I wouldn't eat them together. No, no, no. But I would definitely eat them beat both of them before the meat, and then I would eat the rest. I would eat like half the sour pound straws. I would eat all the Vienna sausages before, and that was a good source of protein. But that was my that was my pregame ritual in high school.
Do you have a pre-meat meal?
Uh, nope. I like to be light on my stomach. So like I'll have breakfast. But no, no,
Let's
no,
say
no.
let's say the day of meat. What do you like to eat for breakfast then?
Uh, I like to eat like eggs, bacon, turkey bacon. I don't really eat pork too much anymore. Eggs, bacon, toast, or some oats or something. It's just something light on my stomach. Then I have like a snack before the meat, just so I'm not feeling hungry or anything before during the meat. I have like an apple or a granola bar or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or a peanut butter sandwich. That's really it.
All right, pizza or tacos?
I gotta go pizza. I gotta go pizza.
All right, wings or burgers?
Wings,
All right, drums or flats?
flats. I gotta
I'm
say
a flat
flats.
guy too. This one is a big one for me, man. French fries or tater tots?
Oh, this is a tough one. I feel like I'm not a little kid anymore, so I gotta go with French fries.
Thank you. I tots no. No. Here's my argument every time. If you get a soft French fry, it's still edible. If you get a soft tater tot, it's terrible.
It's terrible.
It's terrible. All right, favorite movie.
Oh, ooh. It would have to be. It would have to be. Mm, it's one of Leo's movies. It would either be um uh The Revenant or Avatar. That's and Leo's obviously not in Avatar, but
Yeah.
I love Avatar. Or a Marvel movie like not in game, but Infinity Wars, because
It,
I liked how they made Thanos win. I think Thanos gets a really bad rep. He's crazy. He's a crazy guy, but I loved how they ended that, and then they tied everything together with Endgame. So if I had to choose, it'd probably be Infinity War.
I think it's crazy about uh, Revenant. I never thought that I would appreciate and like a movie so much that there was no talking in for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was still so good. But there was no talking in it pretty much after he woke up from getting mauled by that bear, and then
You
he
know,
like
you know what's crazy? It's crazy because Leo, that was his first Golden Globe. Like you would expect Leo to have multiple Golden Globes, but that was his first ever Golden Globe.
which is crazy to me because he has one of the best acting jobs of all time in What's Eating Gilbert Grape. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. If you haven't,
What's
it's
it
on
called?
Netflix. It's called What's Eating Gilbert Grape. He was young and he
Okay.
plays a mentally handicapped kid. It's got him and Johnny Depp in it. If you watch that movie, you won't even believe that it's Leonardo DiCaprio, and he's like maybe 14 at the oldest. It's on Netflix. At least it was the last time I checked. If you haven't watched it and you like Leo a lot, watch that movie. The movie's fantastic.
I'll definitely look into that.
All right, favorite musical artist all time and currently.
Uh, I gotta say Chris Brown, not all time. Well, yeah, probably all time Chris Brown, and then currently, uh, probably Chris Brown and Drake. It probably it's a tie between those two. I
What's your
think.
what's your favorite album of all time?
Mm, this is different, but Miguel's Wild Heart or Kaleidoscope Dreams.
Kaleidoscope Dreams was so good.
Yeah.
Was so good. What about currently? Like, what's a newer album that you like a lot?
Um. Mm, I was so last year. I feel like this album, and it was just kind of like a sneak release. But the Dark Lane demo tapes was probably my favorite album of last year. Um, Especially the song "Losses." I feel like he was talking a lot of real stuff on that song, and I feel like Drake. He's held to the highest standard, and he always pulls through. But people don't always give him that respect like he deserves. So I always try to prop up and big up Drake because I mean he doesn't need it from me, of course,
Yeah.
but I always try to show him love, like because people trying to play Drake sometimes.
What's your biggest fear?
Um, I don't know. I guess I'm living with some type of regret, like being like. Well, I will say I don't want to ever want to. I think my biggest fear is looking my kids in the eyes and being like, your dad could have been this, your dad could have been that. That's why I work so hard because I don't ever want to be talk about what ifs.
Yeah.
I want to be able to instill in my children that like you're this great because I was this great and you're a part of me. So I think that's one of my biggest fears is being able to like turning into a what if or something like a tragic injury happened, like a career-ending injury, and thinking about like what if.
I feel like that is different than kind of what you're saying though, because I feel like if you try and something like that happens that's out of your control, I don't feel.
Yeah,
Again, this is me speaking from my point of view. I don't really feel like that's something that you can really look down on yourself with. You think
no,
of somebody like a Grant Hill or a Penny Hardaway who, were at the top of their games for 2 or 3 years, and then their their careers were never the same after a couple of injuries. Like
yeah,
people still look at those guys as,
that's
man,
who
they
they
were
were.
great. Yeah, that's who they were. We know that's what they would have been. It was just the injury took their. Tracy McGrady is a great example of that. No one ever looks down on Tracy McGrady because of an injury. You know what I
No,
mean? And
they shouldn't because a lot of people, even Cole, would say like, "Hey, he was better than me."
I've said for a long time, if he didn't get hurt, we're not just talking about Kobe and LeBron from that era. We're talking about all three of them.
And I tell my cousin that all the time. Me and him actually talk about that all the time. It would be LeBron, Tracy, and Kobe. Because Tracy averaged like 36 or 32 that one season. And I know he had that bad back and the knees were giving out, and
I mean,
he just had a bad dealt a bad hand.
outside of Kevin Durant, I think that guy's probably one of the most difficult guards of all time in the NBA. And like Kevin Durant, people can say what they want about that guy, but to me, the guy's the biggest matchup nightmare in NBA history.
Yeah.
Just where he can shoot from, the way he handles the ball, like he can shoot from everywhere.
You can't do anything with Kevin Durant because he can post you up. He can go and score on all three levels at a very efficient rate. He had 28 points on 13 shots, 11 for 13 the other night.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah, I think T Mac, I think people should definitely show him a little bit more love than what
for
they
sure.
do.
All right. Favorite flavor of ice cream?
Just a regular guy I like chocolate.
All right. Favorite restaurant in Louisville?
Um, well, it's not in Louisville, so I can't really say it. But
Well, we'll say Louisville area then.
okay, I love actually, yeah, I love Sapporo or Kansai or Super Chefs. Super Chefs is really good. Have you ever been there?
I haven't. I know they just opened up a new one in the West End, though, or they're planning on doing that. I think it's a seafood
Yeah.
one, though.
Yeah, it's really good, and I like their superhero theme. Um, they have like black superheroes in there, and I love the theme. I think that's the nicest restaurant I've been to. I love Asian cuisine though. I love hibachi. I love Sapporo and Kansai. So it'd be a toss up between those three.
What was the other one you were going to say?
Storm and Crab because I love seafood.
Oh. I've heard good things about that place. That's the one in St. Clarksville, right there on Veterans, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Where Famous Dave's used to be.
Which I never understood why that closed because it felt like that place was always packed.
It was always booming. And I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, dang, like I really wish Famous Dave was right there. We can settle, and we're not really settling for seafood because we both love it, but we kind of both wanted barbecue that day.
Yeah. So, all right, who's your favorite basketball and your favorite football player ever?
uh, I I love To. I love that's my favorite football player ever. To, he was just incredibly gifted. To was To. And then LeBron James. I just love what he brings to the table. I think a close second. I grew away from him when I started liking Bron because like Bron fans, they got to pick a side. Um, but Kobe would definitely be a close second, or it'd be like a 1A 1B type deal. I love Kobe. I love his mindset. I love the Mamba mentality. I love how he's a family man. I love everything about him.
So, who's your favorite athlete ever?
Like
if you had to pick one over everybody, who would you pick?
Probably MJ. Probably MJ. He gets the I just loved how crazy he was. I don't think I ever get to that point, but like I just loved how he was willing to do whatever to get to the top of the mountain year in and year out. And when he retired and then came back and lost, and then he went and was like, I'm gonna win 3 more. Like, I'm not done. And went and did it. His mind is crazy, and I think he's probably my favorite athlete of all time. Not named LeBron, I guess.
All right, so this is the high school part of it. We'll go basketball and high jumping, but the other two will go just straight high jumping. So, who's the best player you ever faced in high school, college, and professionally?
So in basketball, I've guarded and faced a lot of good guys, but I think the hardest guy that I ever faced, and I'll tell you, it's a really big respect thing between me and him. But Daryl Baker, he went to Jeff.
Yeah, he was nice.
He was playing at Talladega. He played against Ballard or Trinity or one of them, and had like 39 points or something like that. He was torching everybody his senior season though. But yeah, I would probably say Daryl. And then for track, high jump, Randall. As far as everybody from top to bottom, Randall Cunningham. Seeing him jump, Ronnie Cunningham Jr.
Like the quarterback son?
Yeah, his son's a high jumper. He jumped, I want to say 230 or 229. That's 7'6" even. So we were both at nationals, and it's a heartbreaking story. But he ended up winning, but he broke his foot. But before he broke his whatever he broke in his leg, he was just flying over the bar, and everybody just knew he was gonna win. And he just looked so majestic, and everything tied together at the right time. And I just love watching him jump. He was definitely the best high jumper I've jumped against,
regardless of college or professionally.
Regardless of college or professional. Well, I guess I did. So last year at USA's, I jumped against Eric Kennard, and he was the 2012 bronze medalist, well, silver medalist, and I think they gave him the gold because Russia, they cheated, and a lot of people got tested positive for a lot of PEDs and stuff like that, so they relinquished those medals. But I guess I would say Eric Kennard. He's special. But
so did Randall Cunningham Jr. get out of the sport, I guess?
Oh, he's back. He's back 100% healthy. They're trying to. Rod actually told me I don't want to jinx it, but they told me they might have a meet in Las Vegas because they all live out in Las Vegas, so they might have a meet out in Las Vegas and invite us. So I think it'll be really fun to catch up and jump with him because he was a great competitor. He was no nonsense, excuse me, and he was a really good high jumper. And I'm glad he's back.
Where did he go to school at?
He went to USC.
Okay.
He won nationals that day too. So him, Trey Cover, and Shelby McEwen, my brother Shelby, excuse me, all jumped 229, but Randall was clear up until that point. So he was special. and I feel like we're gonna have a lot of battles. But it's a big respect from me.
So that's all the questions I have for you, but I did want to So you mentioned that you were going to be paying your own way as far as the hotel and everything
Yep.
in the Olympic trials. I told you on the phone. We
Yep.
spoke about it. I wanted to sponsor you. So we're making that announcement right here that I want that, I'm going to be a sponsor of his. I can't say that I'll be as big as the movement or whatever, but I definitely want to, like he said, man, I believe in you and I'm definitely going to put my money behind you. But is there a way that you will accept donations as well from people that maybe listen to this? Like, is there going to be maybe a GoFundMe or something that you would put in the future? Or is it something that maybe you have like a website that goes behind you that if some people want to donate to help your funds in that, is there something that you would maybe look to do or that you plan to do?
Yeah, so me and my girlfriend were actually talking a few weeks ago, and we're gonna start up like a GoFundMe, like you were saying, and we're gonna do a few things, and we're gonna get that out to the public. Like I was saying earlier, I haven't really been on social media, but I got to get back on to build a brand and build myself up. So we're definitely gonna get into that. For right now, though, I have my Cash App if that helps. But I'm gonna get you all of that information when we touch down when we figure everything out.
Absolutely. Because man, like ever since I met you way back in the day, man, it was like this kid's something special in basketball. And then you told me you high jumped, and I was like, "Do what?"
Man,
Yeah. So
I thought you was going D1 in ball.
no way, no way, man. I was at that point. I was 24. No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't nothing like that. No, I see. Like I told you at the time, dude, I thought you were my age because you
Yeah.
were, you looked more mature than most of the people out there. Granted, we were playing at Community Park in New Albany, so that's
Yeah.
maybe not saying too much, but but guys, we'll get once he releases everything as far as his GoFundMe. I'm definitely gonna get that out and share it on all of my social media platforms. Is there anything that you want to put out there? Maybe something that, as far as like maybe people can come watch you or something, if it's possible, or anything. If there is that meet next week on TV or anything like that.
So I'll be posting on social media. My socials are at jsprings11. Um, it's all the same. Instagram, Twitter. Just I'll be posting on my story. I'll be posting on my regular timeline. All the information. My Facebook is Javen Reeves. You can find me on there, add me on there, and I'll just be posting a lot of information. I don't know if the meet will be televised. Liberty actually televised one meet on ESPN, two a few weeks ago. The one that Rod was at, but I don't know if they're doing this one like that. So I don't quote me on that. But I'll definitely have some information for the people, and I'll have everything up to date and everything on my socials um, very soon. So
For sure.
I'm excited.
Me too, man. I'm excited. I was excited as soon as you told me, you were back and getting ready for the Olympics, man. I was
Yeah.
pumped.
Yeah.
But man, I appreciate you taking time out for me. I know you're busy. Hearing you talk
So
all
it's
that
all
stuff, it
love.
made me tired, man.
It's all love. I love when we get up, and we'll definitely get up real soon, and definitely get up after we log off here.
All right, man. I appreciate you taking time out, brother, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
All
See you.
right.